So howdy and welcome back to my channel. Just want to do a quick intro for this, and I'll do a quick outro as well. But decided to go into Perpignan today, and I live in Perpignan, but went into city center to run an errand into my pharmacy, and then over to kind of one of the express grocery stores, Carrefour Express, which there are several scattered around the city, along with Subaru Teal and Casino has, but I think Casino was just bought out by either probably Marché. But in any case, we have several of kind of the smaller bodega style, well, larger than a bodega, but kind of that style of grocery store, and then I decided to grab some lunch. So in any case, hope you enjoy the video. And I apologize about the sound on it. I started to use my microphone setup that I had, but it was getting kludgy, and then it was starting to rain, so it became a little bit more problematic. So I went to my phone, and the sound actually worked pretty good on the phone, except it's a little breezy, so you'll hear the wind quite a bit. When I play it back, though, it sounds like, I can hear myself pretty clearly, so it doesn't impact that at all, but you are going to hear some background noise, and I apologize about that. I'll have to see if there's some way that if I use the phone only, that I might be able to get some sort of one of those little furry things for it, just so it kind of cuts down on the wind noise that occurs. But in any case, it's not completely distracting, but it's there. And there are times where it gets a little too, where it does get a little bit breezy. But nonetheless, hope you enjoy. It's just a kind of a walk around. You'll see a little bit of the city center area, and kind of what it's like to be here on a daily basis, sort of thing. So hope you enjoy, and we'll talk to you later. Well, we're going to try the phone to see if this works out all right for the sound. But I just got off the bus here at the Wilson stop on Wilson Boulevard. It's right across from the B&B Hotels place, but they have some beautiful buildings along here. Again, not the best day to do this, but anyway, we've got what I wanted to show you as well on the bus stops is that each one will have tags on them like this, and so it'll tell you which lines are serviced by that stop. And so, like the B line, the 1 line, 3 line, all that sort of thing. So what you want to pay attention to too is the direction of which way obviously the bus is going. So on here, it'll show you like the B bus is going to Cité Saint-Cécile. The 3 is going to Gare TGV. So there'll be another direction going the other way, obviously. And so in this case, the bus stop on the other side is the one that's going the other direction. That doesn't happen all the time with two-way streets, so you do have to pay attention to where the other bus stop is. In any case, that's another bus coming in. But what you want to look for typically are these yellow zigzag stripes. That'll indicate typically that there's a bus stop there, and they almost always have some sort of signage for it. But if it's new or under repair, it may or may not. But in any case, look out for the yellow zigzag lines here. And now I'm just going to walk over to the pharmacy. But you can see in here, they have these huge, beautiful trees. And of course, as time goes on, I'll show you what they look like when they're in full leaf. But it's absolutely, I'm just amazed at these trees. Apparently they're called, let's see, maybe get this right. It's London Plane is the genus, and I'll put something on the screen about that. But that's what I was told was this sort of genus of tree. And right now, what we're in front of, we may not be able to see it all that well. Come here. This is the park area where they hold the brocants every Saturday. And so vendors will come out here and put up their tables and whatnot to put things in. But at the very end, and I'll do something on, like I said, on a better day here, but at the very end down there is the Palais de Congrès. and that's an event center here. So they'll have concerts and exhibits and things like that there. Like I said, I'll on a better day I'll walk down there and show it to you. But this is kind of the community around the Parc Maillot, and I'm sure people will just correct me on my French as well. But nonetheless, going to walk on down now to the Pharmacie. And try to keep my hand out of the viewfinder here. But and just as a side note about pharmacies here, the and I'm sure most people are aware, in France you're not going to have places like Target, where you can go in and pretty much buy just about anything you'd want right there, including over-the-counter medications, things like that. Here in France, they don't sell those at like Auchan or at Carrefour or at some of the grocery stores and all that. So what you end up, they've got these pharmacies, and what I found out is the reason they have so many of them is that they're all independently owned, which I really like. That it means that they each have their own kind of content, what they sell, things of that sort. So this one here is the one that I came to after I was kind of summarily dismissed from the pharmacy that's actually walking distance from my house for that one medication. And these folks didn't have any trouble with it. So, but over here, let's see if I can get my hand in here. This is a cinema, and so they play a lot of obviously the new release. This isn't like this is some town back 40 years ago, but they play new releases. A lot of the times they're actually English with French subtitles. Now, if it turns out that they have some other language, that I think like The Brutalist and another movie, probably several other movies, people go into other languages, the subtitles are still in French. So it's not like you're going to see English subtitles. But anyway, friends of mine have gone to that theater several times. They really enjoyed it. Wanted to also get something about these crosswalks. This one does not have any sort of indicator on it. Usually at lights, things like that, they'll have a red and green person indicator as to what you can do. And people in France typically are very good about stopping for pedestrians in the crosswalk. That's not always going to be the case. So obviously exercise caution. This happens to be a two-way street, so I'm going to look both ways before crossing. This is a lovely cafe, just now starting to rain, which is a bit unfortunate. This is the beautiful canal that runs through the city center. It feeds off of the River Tete, which is a little bit further away here, but just very, very pretty, and just kind of nice to walk around here during the day when it's sunny out. So in any case, but again, there's my pharmacy, and I'm on my way. Trying my best not to get people in the shots here, but there's the pharmacy. There is the kind of ubiquitous Galerie Lafayette here in Perpignan. Apparently that used to be, well, it still is, it's just been recovered. But before Galerie Lafayette took it over and renovated the exterior, it was an old building, probably built in the late 1800s, just like the rest of them around here. Kind of scan around. That is the Castellet. At least that's how it's pronounced on the bus stops. But Castellet, it looks like Castellet in French. So, but and then here's another view of the movie theater. Oh, sorry, movie theater. The building on the end is actually more like a bank insurance place. So, but they're just beautiful, beautiful architecture. And then of course the canal. Don't ever see anybody in the canal, which is probably, you know, not recommended for people to do that. So, but there's Galerie Lafayette, more streets, and then my Pharmacie Notre Dame, and I'll be going in there. So this area has a bunch of baby products and things like that for infants. Just thought that was kind of interesting that it's kind of an area dedicated to that here in the pharmacy. And out front is where they have more of the health and beauty products, things like that. And just a great selection of French brands too. This is a very nice one, but very clean. Lots of options. This is a more organic, natural stuff. Then, of course, this is the desk for this, and then you can get the products. They're essentially over the counter, but you have to ask for them. And the pharmacists here can actually do, and might be true in the United States as well. But they're very good at also helping you with some minor things like if you have allergies or hurt and something like that. They can do a bit more than just issue drugs. They can give consultations and things of that sort too. So don't hesitate to stop in a pharmacy to ask them if you're having trouble with headaches or you've got some nausea, whatever it is. Don't go to the emergency room. Just stop at a pharmacy and ask the pharmacist. See, here's a crosswalk that has the signal and it's currently green, so I'm gonna cross. But this one's red. It's a one-way. Oh, people are coming now, so I will wait. But again, there's the Castellet, Galerie Lafayette, and I had a little bit of a snafu in the pharmacy with my social security number. Apparently it was not working initially for them, so they were able to check it online though and got it all corrected. So that cut down quite a bit on the cost of my medications, but my mutuelle I didn't have the right paperwork for that, so my fault. So I'll have to submit that facture separately, and when I come back to pick up the extra medication they had to order, then I will drop off the information for the mutuelle, so that next time I don't have to pay anything for the medications. So in any case, we kind of look back. Maybe we'll try to zoom in a little bit. I can't keep my fingers out of the way here. But you see in the distance, or maybe I can't, is the Palais de Congrès and the park that we just walked through, Galerie Lafayette. And now I'm going to walk down to the Carrefour City to pick up some groceries. Anyway, I'll take you along here with. Hoping that the sound is coming through fine with the little bit of rain pellets that seem to be hitting. Here's a Super Utile. That's a decent little place, but these tend to be more expensive than the big box ones, but they're certainly super convenient. Now, talking about the bus stops, this here is Vauban, and one thing you need to keep track of with this is that in this instance, it is a two-way street, and there is another going the other direction, another bus stop going the other direction, but it doesn't services the same buses. So it's, if I take you back to Castellet, up there, and I'll do some more. Whoop. Yikes, that's loud. But anyway, where you see the buses kind of going through up there, that's another major stop, and most of the bus lines will be connecting at that point over there. And there's a Carrefour City in the base of one of the buildings over there, kind of like this building here. But the buses that come in over on this side, go the other direction. So even though this is a two-way street, you do have to pay attention to what the stop is that you want to go to. If you download the Sankeo app, I don't think you have to have an account to log into it. You probably have to have an account in order to put like a credit card or something like that on file, a debit card on file. But if you download the app, that'll make things a lot easier, because you can essentially type in an address of where you want to go, or at least the street name, and it will give you an idea as to where your closest bus stop is, how to get to it, and the various lines that might help support you getting to that point. So, but like what I was saying here with Vauban, is that you see with, this is Vauban 1, and those are the buses that are serviced by this stop. But there's a Vauban 2. Of course, they don't tell you that. It's just in the, when you get it, even in the app, it'll just tell you it's Vauban. But what you learn is that, like my line coming into the city here, the city center, comes to Vauban 2. It's not that far away, just a block. But of course, if you're trying to meet somebody, sometimes you have to be very clear as to where you're meeting them. So but this is Vauban 2, and you can see it's different. It's a different bus stop for different lines. So we're just going to continue. And you can see there are major walkways here that cross the street. Like I said, just be vigilant. People are really good about stopping, but sometimes they don't. I do really want to get a moped of some sort, but that'll just make this a lot easier, because there's a lot of parking options for the small vehicles like that. Point B is a chain of hamburger. I think they have chicken sandwiches too. Relatively inexpensive. Not bad. Not, they say they're the best burgers, but they're not. But they're not bad. They're not bad. Across the street over here, that's one of the post office branches. So it's not the main post office, but there are a lot of little post offices around that you can drop things off, obviously. I always thought this was a pretty flower shop. We got the delivery cycles here for Eat Sushi. Let's eat sushi. And here's a tabak. The tabak, they're fairly ubiquitous around France. But it's a place, they don't just sell tobacco and cigarettes and things like that. They sell a lot of things, especially just little knickknacks and cards and things like that. So newspapers. So, and if you live here, sometimes, especially like if you live in the city or in a place like this, that it sometimes is also a delivery spot for postal packages, UPS, things like that. So it's don't just pass it up because it's devoted to cigarettes and things like that. There's a lot that goes on inside there that would also be helpful for people just living here. This is Art Tapas. They certainly sell a lot of paella, things of that sort. This is their menu. But I haven't tried this yet. Maybe when it's a little warmer out, we'll do that. But now I'm going to go down, and oh, by the way, you'll see these containers all over the place. These are the trash bins used for the people that live here. And what you're going to find is that the yellow ones are for recycles. The gray ones, like this one here, is for trash. And then you'll find green ones that'll be marked vert, and that's for glass. So any glass that you have will go into a separate bin. You don't put those in the recycle bin. But this one obviously does not have a glass bin here, but they're all over the place. Bonjour. So here we are at Carrefour City, one of the locations. This is their BO, which is the organic. I don't know why that escaped me. Look over here. But it's just nice to see that they have selections of fruits and like that. And the thing is that in France, I believe it's everything now, but they have to identify the source of where those things are from. So obviously these are from France. This is from Peru. Get the mangoes from Peru. Get the limes are from Brazil. Some pomelos from China. This is coconuts from the Ivory Coast. So, but they also have some pre-made things, pre-packaged things that you can get. The price is really, I'm not so sure about fruits. They don't seem to be all that bad. But of course, there's always going to be wine available. But you come in here and it's, like here's the household goods for like wash soap and all that. Here's some pet foods. Here's some pre-packaged foods. And I'll say, I've been really surprised as to how good a lot of these packaged foods are. In the U.S., it's always kind of this isn't really going to be all that great, but it's something to eat. There's a couple of things that have not been, to my taste necessarily, but really overall, the stuff has been very good quality, just remarkable. So you can get individual. Here are the cookies. These are the inexpensive cookies they have here. You just kind of work your way around with I'm sure it's like in the U.S. where the bigger companies are in more of the center view. And if you're looking for eggs, here's where the eggs are. Notice they're not refrigerated. And these, they do vary in price depending on kind of the quality. So they're all going to be plein air sort of things, but some of them may be a little bit more organic and therefore a little bit more expensive. But been very pleased with the eggs. And then you can get, various things like duck, turkey, prepackaged pork chops. Here's some beef. And then more of the packaged things you can use for sandwiches or a charcuterie board. Here's some jams. Here's, as opposed to the U.S., here's the cereal aisle. So very, very much fewer choices, which is nice to see that it's not something. I think there's more choices of teas and coffees. See some things that are organic. You come over here for the teas. I don't know what you want to have for these types of things, but they got all kinds of choices. One thing that I have found odd so far is that nobody sells plain iced tea. It seems to always have some sort of fruit, typically like peaches. There's some candy, the candy aisle. But the pastas, I don't know what that is, why they don't have plain iced tea that's kind of pre-made. Here are condiments. So you can pick up your pestos, your bolognese sauce. Here's something that's Provençal, Basque. The various toppings or side things they'll usually have with fries. You get a curry, a samurai. This is a little spicy, but not. I mean, it depends. Everybody has different levels of spice, but I never found that to be super spicy. The pepper is pretty decent. I like Algerian and the chili Thai, but I don't see either of those options here. But then, of course, they have things like ketchup, mustard. Now, the mustard can get pretty potent here, too, so that's something to keep aware of, that the French love their mustard. So these things will tend to be very, very powerful. But in any case, just a quick look at the grocery store. I actually need to do a little bit of shopping here, so I'm going to disconnect this so that I can go through and pick some stuff up. But just want to do a quick stop at the grocery store and show you. Oh, by the way, if you need sponges or mops or something like that, I mean, they don't have that big of a selection, but it's something just in case you're staying at Airbnb or whatever and you just need something to clean up something. You know, even some little pots, whatnot that you need for things. But nonetheless, that's it. And that abruptly ends the trip that I had to City Center this afternoon. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that. Again, these will be a lot easier to do for me, obviously, once I get the hang of it. But then also when it's typically a more beautiful day out than what it was today. Just getting pelted with rain and the little bit of a breeze kicking in and just a little problematic trying to get around. But hope you enjoyed it, and we'll look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Au revoir.